Russia. Helson, Russia have taken defensive, religious, quality and trade. I am actually very surprised he's not taken innovative. Helson, I know, is a massive fan of innovative ideas, but has not taken them. So defensive is going to give extra morale and just make Russia harder to conquer. General Winter is pretty potent. Religious ideas, because he's probably one of the only, if not the only, Orthodox nation in the game, in the world at the moment. Quality for just making his soldiers fight better, and then trade for a bit of extra cash. And if we take a look at the trade income, it is 30. It's a little bit lower than probably would like, but they are also sending trade to Hamburg, so it's going to be receiving subsidies from Hamburg as well, which is going to make up another quarter of their trade income, roughly. Andalusia, currently under the substitute of heresy, have taken exploration, defensive, economic and quality. I'm seeing a little bit of repetition here in choices of nations. Idea choices for nations. Exploration, because Andalusia did start gobbling up Africa pretty quickly. I'm a little bit surprised we've not seen Andalusia going into the Americas. We've seen them going into Africa a little bit, but this was actually through conquest, not through colonization. So since they got exploration, they got their 2 settlers. Oh, they're in Indonesia now. Interesting. Okay, I had missed that. Meanwhile, Japan has made it to South Africa. So Japan is doing precisely what I thought they should have done much longer ago, while Portugal was still busy with other problems. Meanwhile, the Portuguese army is offloading right now. There's only a few Filipino troops here. It's not going to last for very long. And it does look like the fight back is well and truly beginning. Spain having now troops here. Portugal having troops here. France, we know, had troops here earlier. I would suspect that this is going to peace out relatively soon.
So I'd like to call your attention to how big Prussia is because of a mistake I made, and how Netherlands is not totally filled in. So I called in Prussia to help me kill Brabant, and I would give him part of Anhalt, and then I accidentally pieced out giving him all the Anhalt stuff without claiming the Brabant.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
So you should be able to take out Brabant. There's 4,000 men.
Yeah, but I now have a truce till 28.
Yeah, fair.
I pieced out the entire war instead of just Anhalt.
Okay, that is pretty funny. Yeah. I was wondering, actually, while I have you here, how come you haven't taken any colonial stuff?
It's just because at the moment, I was considering dropping, I originally had trade at the start of the year, and I switched it for offensive, because at the moment, the only places I could really reach colonially was, Barbados and stuff that wasn't claimed. So it was, unless I went all the way down exploration, I couldn't really start reaching things that were worthwhile to colonize at the moment.
Right.
So I decided to, bide my time and just, finish consolidating and building up my fleet and stuff, and then seeing how it was going to play it. Because I'm in talks with various players about getting buying colonial stuff they don't need anymore.
Gotcha. So it was a latecomer to the colonial game as opposed to one of the.
Yeah, it was just at the moment where I was I was loading up the save a couple times, and I would have to get the plus 50% range from exploration to even get to anything uncolonized in Africa or even in the Americas. So it was at that point it would be very difficult to establish myself.
Yeah, I mean, Africa was always going to be difficult, but if you'd taken Barbados, then Barbados would work as a stop-off for anywhere else in America.
I was thinking that, but then the catch to that, though, is where do I set up without immediately triggering, a potential collision,
Yep, that is always the quandary.
Especially since I already had, I had a lot of stuff I needed to consolidate continental at the moment, so it was just sort of a decision that, I can wait on this to see if I can get in a war and punch someone for their colonial gains if I really want them.
So you're basically taking the British approach. Wait for somebody else to do all the work and then take it from them.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm doing.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if you've noticed, but the Dutch now control the English Channel trade.
I had not noticed that, and yes, you do.
because I finally at the start of the session I had one center of trade. Now I have all of the Dutch, and I've been upgrading them and everything, and now I actually have trade power. So
yeah, that was actually another reason why I was surprised you haven't gone for colonies, because every colonial nation of 10 cities or more gets you another merchant, and for every merchant you have is another level 3 center of trade.
Yes, but it was just kind of a thing of, do I really want this? Because especially since I knew about that France and Britain were coming, there had been like talks about other wars going on, and I wanted to have a bit more staying power to my military, because we're not totally in the fire phase yet, so my fire bonus isn't amazing yet. So I wanted to get quality to start giving my guys a bit more oomph, because like while I have I get offensive because I already have quality, but like the quality bonuses, while nice, are more like in addition to other bonuses, as opposed to just a thing that you can use to shore up your military as it is.
But yeah, I'm pleased to say that you're making a pretty penny out of trade now, so definitely feeling more Dutch over there. And that you're actually competing with the British in terms of trade. Like, there are too many games where the Dutch player just goes, yeah, you keep the trade, I don't need it. It's like, you're Dutch!
We briefly discussed doing a thing, and then we just like never actually did it. So I was like, screw it, I'll just do my own.
Fair enough.
So it's like, all right. And now that I actually have the centers of trade, I'm winning the war, winning the trade thing at the moment.
Yeah, you just need to upgrade Antwerp and Vlaanderen to level 3, and then you really should be taking it.
Oh yeah, I'm just getting the money. I had to embrace the institutions and start selling them out and yada. But yeah, so I totally I continue my trend of accidentally screwing myself over for the sake of my allies by giving them the stuff I meant, by piecing out incorrectly. I figured I'd let you know.
Well, now Brabant should be weak enough that you can take them yourself, you know, with the 52,000 stuff.
And on the bright side, my coalition didn't go up after that war, so...
Oh, crikey, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so what happened was Prussia and I decided we were going to blitz a bunch of the AIs so that we could get that final reform for fewer. And so we went to war, and like it escalated, and I took a bunch of land off of Brabant, which is why they're only the 2 province minor. And then I killed Liège at the start. I took Luxembourg off of Luxembourg, and then Trier formed when the Palatinate got punched. So Prussia talked me into taking Trier. So my kind of skyrocketed, but I have the helpful aid of Prussia, Austria, and the Ottomans to keep the coalition from doing anything stupid. Because the Ottomans is just hankering for a chance to punch anything.
Yeah, I can imagine that's true. I wouldn't be that surprised if Russia's in the same way.
Yeah, but Russia
to a lesser extent, but yes.
Yeah, Russia's a bit more diplomatically. Did you hear that the Ottomans unified Central Africa for the Congo?
I did. Yes.
Yeah, he just comes in and goes, okay, so that job's done. Anyone else needs something fun? So.
Yeah, I'm pleased that he's found a way to keep himself entertained.
Yeah. But I also with everyone's navy imploding, I now have the second.
Speaking of navies, how's the Philippines looking? Slowly returning to Portuguese.
Yeah. We're just sitting here in the HRE chat going, is that war ever ending?
Not for a while.
Yeah. It's been I think it's been going since their war
started in 1597. Jeez. So it's been going for 19 years.
Yeah, almost 20 years now. Wow.
Yeah, that's a long time. That's a while.
Yep. Well, I'll leave you to it.
Okay.
I just wanted to point out my own incompetence with interface.
Well, thanks for stopping by and telling us about that. Also, sorry, Dabin Imperiist, I did not see your message earlier. This is the Great Power List. So in first place at the moment we have Hindustan, then the Ottomans. So Hindustan have actually knocked the Ottomans off their top perch. Iran's coming in 3rd, Russia in 4th, Spain in 5th, Andalusia actually in 6th, Ayutthaya in 7th, Timurid in 8th, and that's your 8. So yeah, kind of impressive. And that war just continues to rage on. That guy, Iran, is now fighting against the Kamchandals, Ainu and Navik, so finally gobbling up the last little bits that they needed to grab. And then I guess that Iran's going to be trying to get Siberia. Except Iran has no way of colonizing. So I'm a little bit surprised that they are going after the Kamchandals now. Let the Kamchandals colonize this, then take them. Put a guarantee on them to make sure nobody else does that. And then Ayutthaya is also fighting against Dali and Kaima. So gobbling up the last of Ming. This is it. The last holdout. And then Kaima, which I'm guessing is down here. So not really going to last for a very long time, I don't think. Meanwhile, where were we in our talk? I think we'd just gotten to Andalusia. Going through the ideas. Yeah, we've talked about Andalusia. Their policies right now are Edict of Resistance, which is unrest reduction and attrition for enemies. So Andalusia also going down the path of just making themselves really difficult to conquer. Then we got the Stamp Act, which is global tariffs plus 25%, which is pointless for them. They have no colonies. And then, oh wait, do they? Oh, they do. Never mind. I stand correct. Oh wait, are these? No, these are trade companies. You don't get tariffs from trade companies. So no, that policy is actually pointless. They should probably have taken the Naval Secretary Act instead. And then finally they've got the Military Zeal Act, which is morale of armies and then siege abilities. So a nice combination there from those two. Next up, we have the Papal States. The Papal States using economic, quality, trade, and quantity. We know that the Papal States have done a really good job of consolidating the Genoa trade node and making just a silly amount of money from that. Economic as well, because just like Milan, they do have the potential to build tall, though just not as tall. Quality to make their armies better and also make their navies better. And then quantity. I'm a little bit surprised that they took quantity instead of naval. Naval, especially for a galley nation, is really, really good because it has loads of bonuses for that. And naval also has the reduction to morale loss, which is very important if you're a galley fleet, as they are. So if Papal States had naval, they could almost certainly take down the Ottoman fleet, for example, even if the Ottomans are several times larger. That's how I always did it with the Knights fighting the Ottomans. Just make sure you have those extra bonuses, which the Papal States don't. So they're not going to be able to punch as heavily as you may otherwise think because they don't have naval and they are a galley. We've got to check their policies. Their policies, meanwhile, oh wow, they have a lot of them. They are investing. Trade efficiency and production efficiency makes sense, trying to get some extra cash. Development cost reduction and then land force limit modifier, so they can get a bigger army. And they do have a very large army, considering their size. They still make a very good amount of money. Like, the Papal States can probably punch on land several times higher than you would think. Hello.
Hello. Unlike before, I'm not here to talk tech stuff. I'm here to point out that Austria is almost entirely Catholic again. Almost every culture in Hungary is accepted again. The economy's back and stable. Caught up in tech because I was like behind in tech poorly, and now I'm almost runner up for like ahead of tech. And most importantly, there are now 2 Austrian colonies in Australia.
Ah, nice. I had not actually noticed that. And yes, you are right. I see them.
It is beginning. The Venetians can go there.
So I have a big question for you.
Yes.
Just how important has Lake Belaton been?
Lake Belaton? Well, since I haven't fought any yet.
Because we noticed that your armies, when Britain was under attack and you were allied to Britain in that war, your armies were doing an excellent job protecting Lake Belaton and making sure it didn't fall.
They were. It was very important. There were a lot of rebels there at the time. Couldn't let the bastards get away.
Oh, I thought it was maybe something to do with Cthulhu or something, and you were the great savior of mankind, stopping them rising.
Also that, yes, of course. Obviously.
Okay.
Can't have Cthulhu bursting. Don't doubt me. I know what I'm doing here.
It was just very funny. Like, why is Austria like sitting over there? They could attack France. France has all of their armies in Britain right now.
I was quite busy in trying to tech up. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but in the last session, I was admin tech 14, diplo tech 10, and military tech 13. Meanwhile, everyone else was on like 15s.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't noticed you were that far behind.
I was like, okay, I need to tech up and fix my economy because the economy was in the shitter. So I did a lot of that this session, and now everything's peachy.
Okay.
And yeah, that whole thing in that happened in Britain, that they didn't take anything on the islands because I told them not to. They technically, through an accident, have an ally in Gaeldom.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually unintentional because the Pope was supporting rebels he thought were for something else, and then they popped and killed him. I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah, I was watching
That
Great
was an
Britain's
accident.
rebels with interest because there were a lot of separatists that were very close to succeeding.
There were, but that one at least was an accident. So that was not an intentional conniving plan or anything.
The other thing I should point out, it is now 10 past, so we probably should stop here.
We should.
All right, let's go and grab everyone and put them into one channel.
Sounds good.
Okay, pulling everyone into your channel just because it's there.
Sure.
Moving in. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello.
We're gonna go to the tick of the month, guys.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
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 Oh, wait.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, hello.
The Dutch have acquired acquiring a proper amount of
Hello.
room.
Okay, so that is going to be it for this session. We did see, okay, there it is. Cool. So yeah, things happened. This was definitely an interesting session. I feel like you've done an excellent job seeding the sea floor with ship bits.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh
at
yeah.
this point, I think.
Well, it wouldn't have been for Spain. They would have lost.
I like to point
They
out
would.
that I've just been steadily increasing my heavies continually over the session, but I went from like 10th place to 7th because of that war.
It was brutal, like watching the entire naval coalition fleet just get sunk and then build up again, then sink the British fleet. It was good.
It was a sacrificial fleet to land in England.
And
I've
really got to hand it to you guys. That is probably one of the best coordinated naval actions I've ever seen. Like, that was
It was
impressive.
done over a week's time. It was planned out, laid out.
It took you guys. Okay, good. Well, congratulations. It was a good campaign. It's basically one of the reasons why I wasn't too worried about a pirate Britain in the HRE, because it's like, yeah, I mean, we just need someone to occupy their fleet and then land troops and GG. So,
Yep.
It's a good strategy, and it's why, again, I think that the updates in the next patch are going to be so much more important, because that's just too easy to do that for an island nation whose whole dependency is the Navy. It's too easy to just circumvent the Navy.
Although, when Britain did have naval superiority, I was a little surprised that they weren't doing any blockading. Like, throughout this whole thing, I've not seen, I think, a single blockade.
There was a tiny bit of blockading, but the focus by that point, I think, was Britain basically keeping them away from Ireland. And since they had lost most of their coast by that point, it was a lot easier for them to blocking people out of Ireland.
True,
I do
but
wanna-
So that
they'd
way
already
they couldn't
sunk.
get full occupied.
They'd
And
already
then they
sunk
didn't get
any
credit.
enemy heavies,
Yeah.
so they were
I do
unopposed.
want
Like,
I do want
another-
to point out that even though we did,
We have a giant Texas block.
Hattie is saying I was blockading France's north coast. Okay.
Tangri, Texas.
Jesus.
Siberian Tengri, Texas, with syncretized Nahuatl.
Yeah,
Oh, what
so
the fuck is wrong with this game?
Yes.
That is the most glorious thing that has ever happened.
That religious map mode. Oh.
That's what we were expecting. Religion is a lot better. If you look at your religion, it's cleaned up a lot. So
Yeah, also look at Africa. Like it's
Actually,
cleaned up
a
very
horde
significantly
Siberian
from
Tengri Texas.
Wait, are they all?
Oh
No, no, no.
Wow, the
They're not
nice
a horde.
three-way
They're not a
split
horde.
No,
of
they're
Europe
Chinese.
in religion.
The Chinese.
They're not
Chinese
horde.
tech
That's
group,
right.
Anyways,
but
guys.
Grandford stuff.
I do need to go, so good session, and I'll see you guys next week.
Yes, I need to head out as well. So
Yeah,
I just want to say thanks everyone for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, be sure to hit that follow button to get notifications when I'm live again in the future, or when we're live in the future. If you've really enjoyed this, do consider subscribing. Helps the channel out, lets us do more of this kind of content. If you want to support the channel other ways, check out the Patreon, which you can find at patreon.com/Mordred Viking. If you would like to join this community and some of the madness that we sometimes do, then head on over to discord.gg/Mordred Viking. And then finally, I have a YouTube channel where you can find the beginning of the series and all other episodes since. That's at youtube.com/Mordred Viking. That's it for me for today. I will be back again doing some streaming tomorrow. Haven't actually decided what yet, so stay tuned here on Twitch or on the Discord for the schedule when it is posted. In the meantime, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for playing. We'll catch you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Okay, so now it is just us again. I'm just going to double check to see if there's anyone that we should raid. Sorry, just trying to stop things from wriggling around. Ah, Ben Magnus is playing. Oh, Hearts of Iron 3. Excellent. Let's go raid Ben, because it's been a while since we raided them. So let's head on over to Ben Magnus, say hello from Mordred Viking, throw in notifications that this is a Viking raid. I want to see his chat lit up with this. So head on over there, say hello from Mordred Viking, throw in the Viking raids, and let's make our presence well and truly known. Thanks everyone for watching. I will see all of you next week. Until then, goodbye.